In this tutorial, I will be developing an application that would use a public API that you can access through this URL randomuser.me. So I will create the application which will display this information and information about a person. We will be using this URL. We will hit it and we will get the JSON response, which will be something like this. We will parse it and then we will go on to display it on the UI. User will be able to press a button to generate a profile. So let's get started. For that, I would be creating a new Android project with an empty activity. So let's name it as random user API and let's finish. Okay, the project has been built. So for first of all, we will be creating a button that we would use to call the API. So let's do it as button and change the text to generate random user and let's give an id generate, and we have given it an id button generate, and let's set it as at the bottom of the parent. So for that we will remove the top constraint and it is at the bottom. Now let us create an async task that we will be using to get the to make the network call. So it would be class network task, and which would it would extend async task and implement method. So now we have this here. For the network call, let's make it a URL and let's give it the API URL. So API URL would be this. If we open it in new tab, we get the JSON result. So I would paste it over here. Now we have the URL. Okay. Now we will open a URL section, or we will just get stream, open stream, and it would return us with a stream input stream object. So input stream is equal to URL dot open stream. Now we would be updating, getting the data from input stream. So for that, we will create a loop, and before that, we will be needing a byte buffer, which would get 4096 bytes every time it is read. So now we would be having is dot read buffer is greater than 0. So while it is reading, the loop will continue. When it has read the whole data, the loop will end. So next we will need to save the data which has been read. So for that I will be using string builder. So new string builder. For these type of cases, string builder using string builder is much better than using strings. So I would be giving it the buffer, and let's change it into new string and byte buffer. So string builder will append this string and in the same object. Otherwise, new string objects are created. The difference is immutable and mutable. One is immutable and the other is mutable. You can check more details about it on Google or Stack Overflow. So after we have whole data, we will be using sp dot to string. It will return us the JSON data, and let's output it on the UI as toast. So for that I am publishing it using publish progress, and it will result in calling on progress update. And here we will have the values. First values would be string, since we are just calling it once and we are sending it as string, so we can just typecast it into strings. So we will use values dot to string, or just string, or string dot value of. We can use both of these. So now we have the string. We can now create a toast. So for here I am using that, and it would it should display after it's been called and it has successfully gotten the JSON. So now we just need to execute this network task. So for that I would be getting the button, which would be button or find view by ID r.id dot button generate dot set on click listener. And we will just, since we are just we just need to set on click listener, so don't need to create a separate object. We can just directly refer it and set the on click listener. So here we will be calling network task is int is equal to new network task, and now antidote execute. Let's try it. Okay, so there has been crash. Let's see what happened. Okay, so now we got the error. It is on line 39 and it's saying that okay, we haven't added internet permissions. So I am adding it now. Since I have added it when the application has had a first run, so I would need to uninstall the application from the applications. And what was it name? Random. So here is the application. I would be uninstalling it, and now we can try. Okay, now we have called it and it has displayed some object reference. So the string is not being converted. We can just set this up and let's put it as SB. So we can now do something like this, string builder, and okay, redundant. Okay, let's see. It is displaying this object reference. So for to avoid that, I think we should add the types. So first would be object. We can set progress as string, and then the last one result as object. So here it would be dot to string, and on progress update we would be having string. And yeah, the issue was with since this was an array, I forgot to add the braces to define index, which should be red. So let's check it out if it's working now. Okay, it is working. As you can see, there are some calls. There had been some calls here, like here. So now we can just return back to object and we can set it as first index. And if we try now, yes, we got the JSON. So in for now we have created a network task and displayed a toast when it has been completed. We can use this task for downloading any kind of file, and we can just publish the progress using this this function. We can just call publish progress and it will send the object over here in on progress update. So in the next tutorial we would be creating the UI and displaying the data, parsing the JSON and displaying the data on the UI. Till that, have a nice day. Goodbye.